There's a clear hadith, Sahih hadith from accounted by Aisha. Two things. Tahajjud has always been in the last third. There's no tahajjud right after Isha. Second thing, he never prayed more than 11 rakah. That's the hadith. So why are you even looking somewhere else? Why are you even asking? That's why I asked in that group that which example you want to follow. And I gave an example. You know where you can actually follow Sahaba? Do you know? When you do not have an answer. For instance, what is the punishment for homosexual? Did Prophet have a ruling on that? Does Prophet have a ruling on homosexual? What is the punishment?
You didn't know, actually.
No, I said no. He did not have a ruling. So Sahaba did. They themselves did. They threw it from the rooftop, right? But now I'm asking you, is that binding? Is that an evidence for us? According to Prophet, no. And that's why even Iran or Afghanistan have different rule. You see the logic? If there is a ruling clearly from Prophet, you cannot ask even. I'm not going to ask Rafsanjani or Khamenei or Amir al-Mu'minin. That's haram. Because there is ruling. If you have example from Sahaba, that you take in consultation. Another example, Ali ordered to burn people who are saying Ali is God. Right? Punishment of murtad is death penalty. But who gave him the idea of burning? He himself thought about it, right?
Yeah.
Is that an example? Is that a evidence for us? No.
Then what can be the
As a matter of
implications
fact,
of such
lot
hadith?
of ulama, I'll come to that. Very good question. Lot of ulama criticize Ali. You know why? For that burning. Because they are burning, when they're burning, it says, look, you're God, because that's the proof, only God can punish with fire. It did not do any good. So now question arises, what does the Sunnah of Sahaba Khulafa Rashidin mean? Right? Most important Sunnah, how did they decide who will be the Khalifa?
I have a question
Yeah.
here. When it was that Ali ordered that...
It's a fact.
uh,
Because they were saying Ali
do
is
you know
God.
the year? Because Ali was born before the Islamic calendar, and he died in...
No, he was Khalifa at the
13
time.
Hijri Qamari.
No, Ali was Khalifa at the time.
And he ordered that...
Yes, because they were
every
saying Ali is
person-
God.
Every person that...
I would burn them too, but that's a different. They were saying this is the first group of Alawis, so-called Alawis.
No,
They were saying-
Alawis are different.
I know.
We have
I'm just joking about it.
Ismailis, by name of Ismailis, because they are different. For
Yes,
example, we
but-
have 12 imams, but they have the 14.
Yeah, I know.
14 imam, yeah.
But Alawi is another group.
Yeah.
Alawi is like the closest to Trinity.
Yeah.
But the fact is, that's what I'm saying. There is no reference because they are all clear. But it's a fact, when they started to say Ali is God, he punished them, just like Omar did. Ali is his own logic, right? And he punished them with fire, burning the fire. But that does not become a case. So when do we need? When, first condition, Prophet does not have a ruling. Second condition, when we have example from them that tells us a guidance. For instance, it's very important. I even have it in my education book. See, in education book, I'm talking about thinking process, and it's a very important component of thinking process. When they selected Abu Bakr, people say, oh, it was already nominated by Allah, so it is automatic. It was not automatic. There's a dispute. As a matter of fact, somebody, I think it's Abu Bakr who said Umar should be the one. And Umar said later on, do you remember that hadith, the description? Umar said that was the most difficult day of my life. Because Abu Bakr has a lot of respect for him. He's nominating him. He says, what is wrong, man? I'm not ready. You see, that's the notion. So nobody wanted to be in Islam. If you want to be a Khalifa, you're out, you're gone. So how he was nominated? That process was first established with Abu Bakr. Remember the suggestion? They said there should be one Abu Bakr, one from Muhajir, and another from Ansar. Remember that suggestion? Isn't that what you're doing today? So, brother, every tribe should have one.
Yeah, to make it inclusive.
That's right. You see how illogical it is? Isn't that very convenient? From every, just like in Arab Emirates, from every tribe there is one, and they take turn in becoming the president. That's not Islam. Islam is very unique. It's one. So that process, who taught them? Is there a hadith? Is there a hadith that says this is the way to select a leader?
We have a
Lot
similar,
of hadith suggestion, but select a Khalifa. So that becomes an example where Sahaba did the right thing.
But about Abu Bakr Siddiq, there are also, in some hadith, there are some signs that Prophet peace upon him is referring to him to be
That's
Khalifa.
right, but exactly. That was used as a logic, that people who nominated him, they used that logic because he was the one leading the prayer. Right? So I understand that. But as a process, so what happens with Abu Bakr? First thing. See, we're talking about, we're answering the Mantiq question, what Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam meant when you follow the examples, Sunnah of the Khulafa Rashidin, right? That's one Sunnah. Second one, Abu Bakr wants to go to war. Nobody wanted to. Remember that? Remember that episode? First one. With Muslims, so-called Muslims, who did not want to give zakat to the state. So we'll do the zakat ourselves.
Yes.
He himself participated in the war?
No. He was the only guy saying that's not good. Even Omar said, try to accommodate. What did Abu Bakr say? Omar, you are the most strict. What happened to you? Even Omar fell for it. So now if you want to follow them both, which one do you follow? You see, that's why every statement of Prophet Muhammad, every statement is so complete and so true. If you violate one, you are gone dalala completely. He said, they are not our evidence. If you follow Abu Bakr, can you follow Abu Omar at that same time? Because they are opposed to each other. You see the point?
But Rasulullah said, Ashabi kan nujumi bi'ayyi iqtadaytum ihtadaytum.
Meaning?
My companions are like stars.
Yes. So what? So,
Everyone can your
see,
leader.
this is false equivalence. You see, the first thing we are saying, false equivalence. Why are you even discussing that? What difference does it make? Am I saying they are all star? Does it mean you follow them? Because that contradicts other hadiths that says very clearly they are not your evidence. Their action is not evidence. And I'm showing logically you cannot be using Omar's opposition and Abu Bakr's pro-war and Omar's anti-war as both your evidence. It conflicts.
Yeah, later on when Usman died and Usman was martyred, and then there was a conflict among them,
Yeah.
conflict of ideas.
Yes. Well, the war of Ali, even two, Talha and Zubair, the God who got good news of, they even fought. And unless, Alhamdulillah, they both returned, and they were not martyred by Ali's force, they were martyred by Muawiyah's force.
Yeah.
But that's logical. But they at least fought. So which one do you want to follow? It's not logical. So it's very simple. So that second, when Omar became, does anybody know the process?
Which
What?
process?
Elected Omar?
Yeah.
What is the process?
Some righteous people gathered with one another and we selected Hazrat Umar.
And how was Osman elected?
The same one.
No, it's not.
Also, when Hazrat Umar got injured at
Yes.
the time, he selected 6 people.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
And after
See,
that,
you have to always fact, Don't start to say, oh yeah, I know. Always refer. If you do not know, just refer. Is there anybody else know?
Yeah,
Because I know that.
about to my knowledge, Hazrat Umar recommended actually by Abu Bakr.
So Prophet Muhammad recommended Abu Bakr by reference because he was leading prayer. Okay? Omar,
Abu Bakr recommended
I heard
Umar.
Omar. But there was consultation. Right? Baya comes after that.
This consultation.
Omar did not want to be. Omar was petrified. So this is the process. The process with Omar, he recommended another process. What was the process? He recommended 6 people, including
Six.
Ali in there,
Yeah, consoling people.
that they will decide.
That was a kind of ancient democracy.
Yes, democracy is exactly correct if you are talking about only righteous people. If you went and voted, everybody voted, they would not select Omar at all or Osman at all. He wasn't a popular guy.
Select the one who pays them, give them
That's right.
lunch in hotel.
That's right. That's democracy. But original democracy, you're right. Original democracy notion was people, the righteous people. See, it's the same because they were guided people all the time. They were prophets all the time.
so if we say the voting process and democracy, these two things are different. Democracy
They
is
have nothing to do with it. Democracy is people of power, right? Democracy by definition is people's
actually,
power.
it is people power. But
No
voting is
democratic
something.
country has any power of people. People are the last people. You know what people are important for? To
Rich
extract
people.
money, to exploit them. And I was talking to somebody yesterday or day before. They all pay tax.
Yeah.
Nobody has any control. What they do with their money. Nobody. So it's falsehood over falsehood. So coming back, Omar's sunnah was something else. He recommended 6 people. Is that right or true? False. Of course right, because Prophet said, follow the examples, follow the sunnah. What happened to Usman? Does anybody know?
Osman who was martyred by the Khawarij.
I know.
And how you select the Osman Radwanhu?
Selection process.
No, Osman's selection was with Omar and they voted, those 6 people, and Ali voted for nobody. Then Osman voted for Ali. You see the sequence?
Yes, that.
And then ultimately Osman got the most vote among the 6 people and he became Khalifa. That's simple. But how was Ali elected? When Osman died, did he nominate anybody? What is the example we follow? Does anybody know?
It wasn't counseling people, but all the Ummah said that you must be the caliphate. First of all,
They didn't though. Not all the Ummah. You know what happened?
Just the most
Why not?
important
There was
Sahaba,
No,
like
not even
Talha,
that.
An argument was
Talha
there.
Zubair.
No. You have to find the actual facts. Facts is cowards. No, the ones who killed
Yeah,
Osman.
an argument was there that first we should find the one who killed Usman, then we will gather and decide about the Khalifa.
Right.
And this was the main dispute which resulted in war and fighting between them.
So the guys who killed Osman, they went to Ali. What is the logic today? MashaAllah, Alhamdulillah, my enemy is gone, I'm the Khalifa, I call myself president. Right? Very happily. What did Ali say? Go away.
Yes, he expelled all of them.
He expelled them. That's what is called following the example. These example, nobody talks about it. So when they are saying that we follow the example of the Khulafa Rashidin, they're lying. You write it down, they're lying. You do not follow. Your action tells you do not follow. You know how to follow? Your culture. Or your hawa.
Our desires.
Yeah, absolutely. So every time you face this problem, you ask Mante question, very simply. So my Mante question was there, we discussed, then in history. So we even know, you have to be able to answer all the questions. And that's why I'm doing this. We're spending a lot of time on this. Rabiul Awwal. Is it celebrated? Is it the holiday in here? 12 Rabiul Awwal?
Afghanistan,
Yeah?
birthday of Rasulullah.
It's not our day, but I'll tell you. It's 12 Rabiul Awwal is holiday in Afghanistan.
Currently, it's not holiday, but
Previously.
previous government were.
Yeah, makes sense, doesn't it? Previous, the Murtad government had that one.
Of course.
Because this is a fact. This is a fact. Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam was dead on 12 Rabiul Awwal. About his birth, you know nothing. As a matter of fact, you can back calculate, it was not a Monday. It's most likely 7th, 8th, or something like that. All you know about the only fact we have, he was born on a Monday. 12 Rabiul Awwal has nothing to do with it.
Even with birth?
No. No, born on, we do not know the date. Only thing we know, he was born on a Monday. That's the hadith.
But what we have been taught that
No, he was not.
in the history that he was born on 12th of
Yes,
Rabiul Awwal.
and you were taught a falsehood.
Yeah.
Okay, you can check that out.
Okay.
Because 12 Rabiul Awwal, go
They
back,
died on the same date. Not on the same date, on the
same
12th of
day of the week.
29
Yeah.
of Safar, he died.
No, 12 Rabiul Awwal.
Rabiul Awwal.
And according to Shia, he was died in 17, I think, 17th of Rabiul Awwal.
No, 7th Rabiul Awwal is a very important date for, that's the day of Badr.
Badr.
My grandson was
Badr.
born on that day, 17th of Ramadan. But 12 Rabiul Awwal, imagine this, is the day of catastrophe. Prophets, Sahaba, generations after that, lamented that day. Why is the day of catastrophe? You know what catastrophe means?
Yeah.
Nakba,
Khaja.
right? That's the catastrophe. Because the connection with Allah, direct connection with Allah is gone. So they are very sad. That's the most devastating news, devastating day. Fatimite introduced this notion of, what is it called? Maulud.
Maulud, yeah.
Yes, Muhammad.
Complete invention. Complete invention. Why? Because Christians were proud to mention that we have a Maulud of Jesus, which is another falsehood. But not as big a falsehood as prophets, because the day of Nakba, you're celebrating. You see the point? Do you understand this?
Yes.
The most saddest day, you are enjoying. Everywhere is celebrating. And their celebration is for what? With the assumption that that's his birthday. Even if it was even if it was true, Prophet never celebrated it. There is no logic behind it. His Sahaba did never celebrate it. He never recognized. He was Prophet for 23 years. Not one day he said, today is special day because about
Come
12
together.
February.
This is my birthday.
We'll have a party at home. Never did. But history is so clear. But Maghzub are Dawalun and Maghzub are so stubborn. They do not want to study this. They're saying, oh, I don't want to know this. Because, brother, are you saying that making dua and praying is haram? False equivalence. You see the false equivalence? They do not check the assumptions. Then Shab Barat, I don't know if you know it. Is Shab Barat a special day for you?
Yeah, it's not celebrated.
It was.
All over the world, all the Muslim countries, except for Saudi Arabia. It's a big deal.
But
What is the deal? So if you have to eat good food, so why do you have to eat good food? So that way, that night, our
writing night.
it will write on our qadr what will food risk is done.
A good future.
Well, Qadr is already fixed. And
That's
written.
right. Simple question. Say, why are you saying something haram? Nobody asks. Say, brother, are you saying eating good food and making dua all night, praying all night is haram? Say, false equivalence. No, I'm not saying that. Just like on the group, I said, I did not say do not follow Sahaba's example. Did I say that? I said no. They are not a role model. Was I truthful? Yes. Backed by Quran, backed by Shahada, backed by Hadith. That is the only evidence. Sahaba's actions are not evidence. And it's not logical either. Because Sahaba did different things. One Sahaba, I think Abu Bakr was doing tahajjud quietly and Omar was doing tahajjud loudly. Didn't Prophet say they were both right? So which example do you follow? Cannot be both. So Sahaba do not mate. Same way. So you have to be able to ask these monthly questions. For research, that's the most important question. That's why I keep saying, first thing you ask, what are the assumptions? What are you assuming, brother? It's easy when it comes to this, we get offended, but can you do that in science? Can you do that with the paper that you are asked to do? If you are not convinced here, I guarantee you, you'd be double unconvinced to do anything with Newton's law and Einstein's theory. You'd be saying, this guy is nonsense, he's talking all kind of, he's confusing us. And that's why I gave that example. That would be you, sitting upside down. We ran out of time, but I have this simple guiding question. Simple guiding question. Who's the smartest guy you know, other than Prophet Muhammad?
What is it?
Who is the smartest person you know?
Smartest person.
Smartest guy.
I don't know, sir.
Yeah, not.
Other than
You
Prophet.
can't say other than Prophet.
Yes.
Other than Prophet, yeah, we can. Bukhari. Bukhari is. Ibn Masud is there. Ali Karamallah, who is there. Ibn Masud.
Let's take research-wise.
Abdullah ibn Abbas is there.
Yes, theoretically, deductive logic. Smarter guys after that was Abu Bakr, after that was Umar, after that was Usman, after that Ali. Right? That's the sequence. So we know that from deductive logic. From inductive logic, we really can't say. We know that Bukhari was very smart and his contribution was very big, right? I use that as an example, not a role model, as an example of good research, right? But can you follow Abu Bukhari? Is Bukhari's action an evidence for us? Will you be held accountable if you do not follow his style? No. That's how sadhana is. So literally, if you ask this Mantra question, says, brother, if you cannot even follow Bukhari as an evidence, how can you start with Newton's law as an evidence? Can you see that? Bukhari is the smartest researcher that we know. Still, we cannot take him as a role model. And you're asking me to start my research with Newton's law, Einstein's theory, Stephen Hawking. How absurd it is. So we are accountable for our words, we're accountable for our intention, but don't tell me you do not see this. That's my only job. To make it clear to you. What you do with that knowledge is up to you. But always fear Allah. So why am I doing this? That's why I give that 4-point or 5-point. Look at your own history. Where you have failed and how you failed. Because you are all victim of shaitan. Shaitan is constantly attacking us with dalala. And then desire. So let's not act on dalala, certainly not on desire, because we don't want to be magzub. We don't want to be dallun.
Can I say something?
Sure.
Sir? When you compare two things that was based on history and also